Every road that we know how to take is lost. We've worn out the mystery. Every answer that's harder.
Hello, and thank you for joining me for today's episode of Junk Journal with me. Today I thought we were going to do some decoupaging, and I have this wonderful napkin that I found quite a long time ago locally. And I'm starting off by taking off the two of the three layers, and the easiest way to do that is by just putting a piece of regular tape on the back and pulling on it. And you just do that twice and have both of your layers off. It's very easy, and I'm so happy that I found this way of doing it, because I used to just try to get them apart from the corners, and it always took me forever, which kind of stopped me from making decoupage at all, because it was just annoying. But this is so much fun. And I thought I would make some round embellishments for my journal. And I am going to use my die cut machine, but of course if you don't have that, you can just use, if you want to make a big circle like I have, you can just use a bowl or a plate or something and just draw around and then cut it with your scissors. That would work just as well. But since I have the die cut machine, I'm going to use it. And I just cut two layers at once, since the napkin is so thin, and the book page I'm using from Botanical Old Book is also very thin. And then I cut another circle with my from my coffee dyed paper. And by the way, this spread is inspired by Izzy B Crafting, and I will link her video that I saw below. She has a full-length tutorial on how to do this, so if this is too fast for you, just watch her video. It's very sweet, and she makes very sweet embellishments. Hers are smaller, but basically I'm following what she's doing, and I immediately had to try it out because it just looked like so much fun. And I kind of think it's nice to do something round for a change. So I am just putting on a some soft gel medium, which I just watered down with some water, otherwise it's too thick. And now I just put on a base coat and putting more on top. And as you saw, I also just distressed the edges before I did that, because in her video she said that it wouldn't, the ink wouldn't stay on once it's decoupaged, but actually I found out it does, but I didn't know that. So and I think this has a different look if you put it underneath. So now I'm doing the same thing with my coffee stained paper, which is going to be the back side of this embellishment. So this was after it had dried for a bit, and so now I'm just gluing one on top of the other. And just making sure that all the edges are sealed. And this makes such a cute embellishment, I think, and it's so easy to do. The hardest thing about this is to wait for the drying, actually. So now I wanted to attach it to my book page, or my journal actually, somehow. But before I was going to do that, I thought I would make a little collage on the back side. So I'm rummaging through my scrap treasures and picking out a few bits that I thought might work for a small collage on the back side of this embellishment. Okay, so these are some of the papers I have picked out, and of course they are way too much or too many. And here I'm going through my small embellishments to see if I could find maybe some focal points.
Saw it right from the start, it was drawn to you. Never could I imagine who you really are. Now look at my battle scars. You love me like
case of embellishment just makes me so happy. Okay, now when you do this, you want to be sure that you have the correct rotation so that it fits. The front of the image is upright and your back will also be upright, and so it's not turned around. And now I'm just going through my printed little bits that I had printed on a computer on coffee stained paper. So now I'm just going through them and see what I would want to put as like a quote on the back as well, because I do like combining some sort of a quote or saying or just something to give it a bit more meaning. And I wanted it to be about nature, since the front of the embellishment had this floral image with some butterflies. So I have some really nice definitions here of words actually that I found sometime on Google, and I tried finding them again, and unfortunately I couldn't. Otherwise I would have linked it below. So now I'm just going through those bits and seeing how I could collage them together, and really trying hard not to overthink it, not to be perfectionist, and just kind of go with the flow, which is always a challenge. I thought maybe I could put a timer next to me and say, you know, give myself like, I don't know, 2 minutes or something to make a collage in order not to overthink it, but actually it worked without it. It went very quickly. Kind of reminds me of baking cookies and decorating them. So now I'm just inking and gluing everything down. And the thing is, once you take off what you had constructed before to glue them, you're going to glue them on differently anyway, because there's no way you're going to remember exactly which position everything was in. So it turns out differently anyway. But you do have a rough idea, and you know what pieces you want to use. So that's the collage, very simple. So now I had to think of a way of how I was going to attach this so that you could still, you would still be able to see both images. So I went back to my Amity Bloom fabric washi tape that I will link below again as well. I have used them in one of my previous spreads as well, and I'm just trying to find something that would work with the colors on this collage. I wanted something with yellow, even though the yellow wasn't the same, but I thought a yellow would be a nice, cheerful touch. And I wanted to use these rather than washi tape because, first of all, it gives you another kind of texture, which is always nice to add a variety of texture, and also because these stick so well that I thought I wouldn't have a problem with it coming off with time. But I did notice a few days later actually that because the book page was very thin that I was attaching it to, that it kind of started to tear a little bit on the outside, on the other side of the page. So I did reinforce that with some washi tape on the other side as well later on, but you won't see that here. And while I was waiting for that to dry, I just thought I would make a few more. So these are what I made, and these are the collages I made on the other 4 on the back side. So very fun to do, very addictive. So that's the spread, very quick, very simple. Hope you give it a try, it's a lot of fun. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.